Welcome in, folks. Today I will be going through the 18 reasons why I enjoy being an artist. Now I should say, this is my list. It is completely subjective, and if there's anything on this list that you really don't like, I might mention the word fun a few times. If you really are not here for that, then feel free to just thumbs down this video. Put some comments down below if you think I should have added something, if I should take something out of this list. It's completely arbitrary. So, spoiler alert, warning, you have it. I should say this list of 18 things is in no particular order. There is no hierarchy here, just 18 things. I am not of the opinion that being an artist is the pinnacle of success or everyone should do it and there's no downside to it. I will make a video at some point about the perils and pitfalls of being an artist. Those are real. I don't want to negate those. But for the time being, let's focus on the positive, shall we? Let's begin. Reason number one, empowerment. You are more than just flesh and bone, some meat bag walking around. You have ideas, thoughts, expressive emotions to share. You are a triumphant joy of transcendent being. That is what being an artist is. You are out there with courage and commitment. Being an artist makes me feel totally, completely, utterly, unequivocally alive as a human being. And with all of this power comes great responsibility. Being an artist requires, among many things, courage and confidence, focus and discipline. And that steels my nerves to go into the battle of art feeling completely prepared and equipped. Speaking of discipline, that's number two. Discipline is the second reason why I enjoy being an artist. It is about growth. I am watching myself go from a little seedling into a mighty tree, day by day, expanding my branches through a very focused and methodical study of my practice. When you're disciplined, you have to show up in the studio whether you want to or not. If you have a goal to reach and you know the steps to get there, then discipline requires you to be professional about it. I have to be beholden to my creative practice. That's part of the deal. This commitment to myself and my practice makes me feel like I'm becoming a more reliable person, whether that's true or not. Number three, the romantic and colorful. Let's face it, we know people who think being an artist is really cool. When you tell people you're an artist, there is a certain level of cachet that you have just inserted into the conversation where they have now elevated you to the status of someone who is a risk taker, who is spontaneous, who is full of lively stories and events in their life. You and I know that's part of the story, but it ain't all. It's a knockdown, drag-out fight some days to be an artist where people are dealing with depressive states, not knowing what to do in the studio, really feeling unhinged. But on the brighter side, yeah, things are really beautiful and really colorful and really imaginative because being an artist requires a level of belief in what you're doing that maybe doesn't exist in the same way in other professions. As an artist, you're in your own world. You have this world of romantic notions of passion and creativity that you surround yourself with, the beautiful things, and it takes intention. You know that you need to be consciously curating what comes through your feed, your emotional, mental, interpersonal feed, whether that is scrolling on Instagram, deciding what to like and save, or being on YouTube and deciding what to watch. Thank you for being here. To be romantic and to be spontaneous is only part of the story. It is a beautiful part of the story, but you also need to be very intentional about what things you're bringing into that romantic lens, those rose-colored glasses of being an artist. But that is one of the reasons why other people appreciate artists or admire artists, and is one of the reasons that I find true of my experience as well. Reason number 4, community and culture. Do it for the culture, y'all. We are talking about artists, musicians, actors, thespians, performers, dancers, all the like of creatives who are out there putting their identities and their ideas and their feelings out there on display for viewers like you. There is a kind of openness to the things that creatives are interested in. There's an open-mindedness that people can latch onto in conversations. You can feel it. And this wrestling back and forth is kind of a shared experience among many artists that maybe need someone to relate to. When you sit down with another artist who is into design and art and culture and that rhythm of expression, you get this shared kinetic energy, an exchange of neurons, electrons. You're firing back and forth, and you two are having a dynamite conversation. That is one of the biggest reasons why I love being an artist, is the community and culture around that shared lived experience. Then I say to you, find your tribe, find your clique, find your compatriots for whom you will go into the war of art together, side by side, hand in hand. Number 5 is art history. Shout out to the art historians out there. This one's for you. When I was in high school and grades before that, I liked art. I loved art. I was good at it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed history class and social studies. But until I got to college, I had never had a proper art history course. And when I did, I just couldn't get enough of it. I love art history. I love thinking about cultures and time periods through the lens of what people were making, what they were looking at, what they were wearing, the symbols, the semiotics of their time. What did a certain word mean, and how did it relate to a happening, a place, a war, a food? All of it through the lens of paintings, sculptures, different modes of expression. Those things were fascinating to me. And I still enjoy art history. I think it's one of the niche areas of study. I enjoy being able to be anywhere in the world and see a painting or a statue or a symbol and to know what it relates to have an idea for who made it, when they made it, why they made it, and what were the background forces that led to the making of that thing, that work. From the caves in France all the way to the technology of today, we have a history of people making things. And art history captures that in an essence to make sense of it. And I just think that's brilliant. Number 6 is imagination. Art encourages us to remain childlike in our imagination. When you're a kid, your imagination is untamed. You can think about things that adults have never shared or thought of. You can imagine the wildest settings with interesting characters and weird plot lines and stories. And art pretty much encourages you to keep that same sensibility. Childlike wonder, imagination, that's one of the reasons I love art. Reason number 7, surprises and spontaneity. What did the great Bob Ross say? No mistakes, just happy accidents. Very true. You're gonna run into accidents. You're gonna run into things that are not as planned. You are probably not gonna have everything go your way all of the time, and you're gonna need to problem solve. There are also moments of boredom where there are no problems. And then I find myself in my studio just humming along, doing my thing and thinking, kind of waiting for something to give me a challenge. And in those moments, I can also surprise myself or make a spontaneous decision to go out and photograph on site and maybe collect more images and things for my portfolio to bring into the studio and just shake things up a little bit. There are also moments of surprise that are real joyful, where you get an exhibition or a grant or a fellowship that you weren't counting on to come your way, and it gives you the chance to experiment and try new things, to branch outside of your comfort zone. That's also really fun. And Don't forget about creatives in the virtual and in real life space, because connecting with other artists can also happen at the moments you least expect it. If someone slides into your DM with a creative exhibition opportunity, or they just want to talk to you about your work and share some different tips of the trade, maybe link up, do a project together, collaborate, or just throw some ideas out there, and these relationships can take time to form over months and years. Those kinds of spontaneous connections with people, with opportunities, that is one of the main reasons I love being an artist, is the unpredictability and things being so all over the place at times, and making sense of all of that is a real joy. Number 8 is business. Time management, money management, energy management, all of that goes into running a successful studio practice for me. I have to make sure that I am taking care of my health to show up in the studio and be my best. I have to manage my time well so I can give it to the areas of deep focus and also the tasks that need to get done on a day-to-day basis. And then money, cash flow. You gotta have some bread in the bank in order to keep this thing afloat. You have to do your taxes, you have to understand how your taxes work. Also, don't forget about marketing and networking. This is huge in life, but you have to do it in the studio as well. And I think it can be this really good educational tool for people who need to get out there, for myself, and show my work, meet people, market my stuff, and put it through the right lens. That is something that I find very helpful about being an artist, is the business side of being a creative. Number 9 is having a regimented schedule. Waking up in a brain fog is never fun. When you're a little fuzzy and you don't know what's going on and you can't remember what the first thing is you need to do, that is something I try to avoid at all costs. I have a schedule that runs by the hour. I know what I'm supposed to be doing because a more alert, wiser self, an earlier me, sat down to map out what my goals are, and then I matched my schedule to meet those goals. It's a stabilizing grounding force to know where I should be and what I should be doing from moment to moment, minute to minute. And I use Google Calendar, I use Notion, I use other apps to help me keep track of my time and my energy. And then ultimately, I protect my schedule from anything creeping in that might interrupt my progress. Things happen near there, errands, life, unexpected emergencies. We work around those things, but more or less, my schedule keeps me grounded and happy. Number 10 is learning and exploration. Being an artist allows you to be cross-disciplinary. You can really enjoy literature, architecture, science, math, geography, oceanography, whatever. Just put it all together and then make something happen. You can be something as simple as a hot dog connoisseur and a sports fan, and then turn that into a budding art career. I mean, there is no limit, there's no ceiling. As much as you're curious, art will allow you to expand your understanding of something and just do this dance back and forth with the subject matter you're interested in. And there's no limits. No one's gonna come along and say, hey, you can't learn about this thing anymore, that has to stop being interesting to you, or we don't care about this or that, whatever. You are the artist who chooses what you are interested in, and the more specific you can be about what you're interested in, I think the more interesting it is to other people. So finding your niche, finding your interest, finding your passion, and just going a mile deep with that is something that I think really helps me investigate life and question myself more. That's one of the things I love most. Speaking of questioning yourself, number 11 is personhood. For the sake of this conversation, personhood is the quality or aspect of being an individual. Being an artist is like being yourself for a living. That's what was quoted to me one time, and it stuck with me ever since. Being yourself professionally. Number 12 is hit the like button and subscribe. All right, no, really. Number 12 is creating art just for yourself. You're doing it for you. This is for you. You make art for no one else. Shut out all the noise. If the world were completely unaware that you were in your creative practice, would you still do it? For me, the answer is yes. I can't not make art. There have been times where I've stepped away from my practice because other things have taken precedence, but I always come back and I miss it. To not be making art is truly sad for me. Doing a practice of art should be enriching for you. You get to go in there and lay down your ideas, tell your story, express yourself. That is a human quality that must be fed. Number 13, art as therapy. It is a place for me to work out my demons. It is a place to sit down with my thoughts and get everything together. That is not to say that a professional therapist is not worth their salt. You should absolutely pursue professional therapy. I am just saying, as far as the letting out of ideas, energies, passions, concerns in the studio, I always feel better after a studio session than I did going into it. The studio for me is a way of call and response. I call to the work, it responds back, and vice versa. It's this dance we do together, and it feels very enriching for me. I hope the work appreciates my time as well. So number 13, art as therapy. Number 14, materials and technology. I enjoy working with my hands. A lot of artists enjoy working with their hands historically, painters, sculptors, ceramicists, you name it. Being in touch with the material that you can feel, hold, mold, shape, push around, and pull back, that's a very cathartic feeling. I enjoy working with materiality, and in the modern day, 21st century, technology is just growing exponentially. There are artists who work with web services, who work with apps, who work with smartphones. You can get into data mining. You can do all sorts of wild things. A lot of sculptors can now imagine their work in a product design software and then print it using a 3D printer. Polymers and plastics going into manifesting the thing that you used to have to do with your hands. Now you can just put it through a machine, bingo presto, right out the microwave. That materiality and technology meeting is something that will continue to happen until the end of time. And so artists working with materials and technology in new and innovative ways, creative ways, is something that I really enjoy seeing and experiencing. Number 15 is for the person who's been watching this video asking, when is he going to mention money? Number 15 is making money. Getting paid for making work that you naturally would make otherwise for free is a really gratifying and rewarding feeling and a feather in your cap. I don't think I need to say more about that. Cash money. End of story. Number 16 is you define what success means to you. You are in charge of you. There is no boss. You determine what the parameters are for what success and happiness means to you. For some people, that means a lot of accolades, awards, and recognition. For other people, that means being able to show up in the studio every day and do work that they care about. For other people, success just means being able to afford a life where they can make art every day, regardless of the outcome. That is success for them. You make your parameters as clear or as fuzzy as you want them to be. You're the boss, you make the call. Number 17 is beauty. Beauty is the artist's profession or study. This is your field of interest, beauty. We are surrounding ourselves, I'll speak for myself. I surround myself with what I consider beautiful things. It doesn't extend only to my studio. It's the music I listen to, it's the books I read, it's the places I travel to where I go in the city, it's the plants in my home, it is the the scent of food or aroma or fragrances in the air. All of it feeds into this beauty box I'm making for myself. This idea of what a beautiful life is, I enjoy so much, and I wish someone had framed it like that for me when I was in study at the university, because I thought I was majoring in how to be a good artist. I thought I was becoming someone who could get paid to make good art, and I'm just trying to get skilled in that avenue. What I was actually doing was majoring in a lifestyle. Being an artist, you are in a lifestyle choice. You are making a commitment that you care about certain things, and for myself, those things are beauty and meaning. And I don't know what other profession I can have that same kind of quality of life. So yeah, I just really love that my profession is beauty. Number 18, and the final point of why I love being an artist, is play. It's fun. If no one is in charge of how much time you spend in the studio, then the time you devote to this should be enjoyable. When I'm in the studio and I'm enjoying the ride because I'm listening to music and I'm giving and I'm taking from the beat, and it all just kind of melts away and blocks out everything that's noise at that point, because I'm just focused in the moment. I'm in what we call that flow state. That state where everything just kind of crystallizes into the now, into what you're doing. That's fun for me. I enjoy that. I am approaching it with an intention and a fervor that feels restorative. My soul is just gathering soul points in that moment, and I just take it all in. I love that. For me, I'm like a kid in that moment where I'm just messing with my toys, I'm playing with materials, I'm absorbing the content, I'm putting ideas in motion, and those things feel intrinsically good for my soul. When you're in flow state, and you know what I mean if you're a runner or an athlete or a musician who really hits the notes in an effortless kind of way, and you're just in the zone, that flow state is addictive and so precious. So when you hit it and when you get into a flow state of play, you just hit it with as much fervor and vitality and gusto as you can muster, and you just let it ride you through. That for me is why I do any of it, is because that feeling is priceless. Yeah. There you have it, my 18 reasons why I enjoy being an artist. If you liked anything you heard today that particularly resonated with you, go ahead and share down in the comments down below. And if you have other suggestions for what you would add to my list to maybe round it out to 20 things, I'm happy to take recommendations, comments, you know what to do. If you want to see more videos about art and exhibitions in New York City, go ahead and thumbs up, subscribe. I'll take you with me on these gallery tours, and we'll see the art world together. Until next time, see you.